Hi and welcome to the Just Real Talk channel, and I am Dave in Real Life Football. And in today's video we are going to have a look at what I would do if I was in charge of AEW. Also, I'm going to give you some positivity, what's positive about AEW, and then we'll get into the crux of what I would change. Positive side of AEW, yes, it's just nice to have competition for the WWE, and it's a great how they're using independent wrestlers on their YouTube channel is also a massive positive. It's always great to see like the independent stars having the opportunity, local talent going up against the AEW talent. It's just nice that rather than just having WWE, have got competition now, which is always great for wrestling. Always loved wrestling at the height of the Monday Night Raws with WCW. I always feel that having that competition there is always a massive positive going forward. But with the positive side, there's always a negative side. I feel that AEW is still learning, it's still growing, it still hasn't quite got its own identity yet. And that is a massive negative at the moment. It's only been around for 3 years. It's got a lot of established stars, a lot of ex-WWE guys, a lot of guys what have been around the wrestling block quite a lot. Obviously, that's including Jericho, Moxley, Kenny Omega. These are all established stars. There's no doubt about that. And yeah, obviously, we're going to get into it because this is what I would change if I was in charge, if I was Tony Khan. Anyway, we're going to get into the crux of the video. Obviously, first thing I'd change is storylines. There's not much in way of storytelling in AEW at the moment. Or if they do, it's either too long or way too short. I feel that feuds don't exactly build the way that they should, especially for a pro wrestling program. I think they tend to take the wins, losses too serious and have it where they're supposed to have had the ranking system. It worked for so long, and then this just started losing control of that. Way too many tournaments is not helping either. I just kind of feel that they're going down a road that they don't need to go down. Let's just tell some classic good old storytelling. It's not hard to build a feud up in wrestling. It's not hard to tell a story through wrestling. It has been something that has been going down for many, many years. I feel that AEW are just not kind of reaching that goal so far. It's nice that like you've got MJF now, who you had an opportunity to tell a proper story with him being a fan of CM Punk. We could have really developed that. It kind of fell flat for me. Also, we had Kenny Omega, Hangman Page. Yes, granted, Hangman Page partner was pregnant. She went and had a child. So Hangman, Adam Page took time off. But it was right bang in the middle of a feud. It was right bang in the middle of a story, which would have been one of the greatest stories in pro wrestling in modern time. But because of that little bit of a gap in between, it lost all momentum. I don't really blame AEW for that. I don't really blame Adam Page of the situation for that. But if that's really your only major story in the 3 years that you've been around, then I think that's a serious problem. I would change stories. That's what I would do. I'd get some creative minds in. Let's not have the wrestlers take control of creative. It's clearly not working. Let's get somebody what can actually start getting some genuine storytelling going. And not to the point of WWE standard, because we all know that that's rather cartoony. It's just like we want somebody to develop some proper stories, some proper feuds that actually make sense for the company, not of wrestling in general. I don't want to see more repeated feuds. Oh, they had a feud in WWE 10 years ago. does not excite me at all, guys, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, let's get the storytelling correct. Point number 2, something that I think a lot of people will agree with me. AEW just needs to stop pointing the finger at WWE. Every 2 minutes, the Acclaimed in the rap, WWE slagging off. You've got MGF mentioning WWE, that he'll sign for them and all this. Like, it's enough's enough, guys. If you're going to make it as a proper company, as a proper promotion, stop giving free publicity to your main rival. Stop treating them as a main rival. Do your own thing. You promised at the start that you was going to be more wrestling, pro wrestling. That is what your tag was. That is what you was putting on the table. Wins and losses mean something. Blah 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 blah. Sadly, you fell off sadly they fell off the rails. They did, and now that they're still pointing the finger at WWE, it's ridiculous. Just do your own thing. Be AEW. Be your own merch. People will attract more to you just being yourself than what you will if you just try to copy the competition. I think just stop copying. Stop mentioning WWE. Concentrate on the product that you are putting out. And that's the best thing to do. That's what I would do. Just stop all of that in your promos. Yes, it's great to a little fanboy moment when, oh, it's mentioned WWE. That's the reaction pretty much. It's like, oh my God, oh cheeky. It's pathetic and they need to stop. WWE are not taking pop shots at AEW, trust me. They don't need to. And that's for that. Moving on to another point. They've got a fantastic female division. I know you knew I was going to mention this. I talk about it constantly. It's just use your females more. I don't think a promo and one match on Dynamite is good enough. You've got a 2-hour show. You seem to have so much talent. I mean, you're trying to cram it into 2 hours, and it's all the males. You've got trios and this and that. It's like, come on, man. Do you really need that? No. You could get another 2-hour show. Make Rampage 2 hours. Really start spreading out these matches, guys. That's what I'm trying to say. You had NXT UK, which was an hour show. You could get 3 female matches in that hour show and still have enough time to get your major storylines for the men over. You can't tell me that you can't do that with 2 hours. Man, it's just the likes of you. Red Velvet, you've got the baddies, which obviously is the major talking point with Jade Cargill, Red Velvet, Kia, Hogan. You've got all these fantastic talents. Where are they on Dynamite each week? Where is Athena? Where is Toni Storm? If you've got a championship, you're fine. You're going to be on TV. If you haven't, you're on Dark, on the YouTube shows, doing nothing, because really they count for nothing. They're just to build your little tally thing up, and that's about it. They're not leading to a massive feud at the end of the day. They're leading to absolutely nothing, to be quite honest with you. So, yeah, just use the females more. I could do a full video on that, to be quite honest with you. It's obvious why there's unrest, that even like, I know that Thunder Rosa is injured, but she has stated that she's rather unhappy at certain points. But yeah, she's going to stay with her contract, obviously. So yeah, I just think the females need to be used better on the roster. Even to a point, create their own show if they have to. Be revolutionary. Imagine AEW have a female show. Would be next level stuff, wouldn't it? But it's never going to happen because AEW don't care about the female division, and that's clearly obvious. Then we've got number 4, push your own. And what I mean about this is, let's really start pushing that homegrown talent. Let's really start pushing and elevating the stars that are AEW. And I'm talking about the likes of Jungle Boy, MJF, who is getting a massive push right now. We're also talking about Darby Allin. We're talking about Ricky Starks. We're talking about these guys, Hook even. We're talking about these guys what are on the cusp. These guys are the future. These guys are going to elevate AEW to the next level, 100%. Problem is, we're 3 years in, and none of the guys what I've mentioned so far have held the major championship. They haven't held the AEW championship. The people that are holding that position right now are former champs from everywhere else, either it be ROH, WWE, you know, the New Japan Pro Wrestling, wherever it is, they've had these championships before. They're already established stars. Let's break that mold. Jericho's past it. Let's move away from him. Moxley's held it now. What? He's held it twice in an interim. Get him off the title. Get him away from the title quick, because he's got to stink it up. You've got Kenny Omega. You've got Hangman Adam Page. There's not many champions, and we've still not quite got to the AEW Fresh Bunch yet. I know they've got to establish themselves as a company, have big name at the top. I get that. But we've got to have your new talent pushing through. You've got to have that next level. Got to have, when Jericho finally retires, when Moxley's, people got bored of Moxley. Do you know what I mean? Where's the next guy? And that's what we've got to get to. And we need to start building that pretty much quick. Jungle Boy, mid-card. Ricky Stark starting to get a little bit of heat, a little bit of traction behind him. But it needs to be more. It needs to be more. The next year for AEW is important to establish their own stars at the top for me. Number 5. This is kind of a bit of a nitpick, but I'm going to say it anyway. Shorten your pay-per-views. 4 to 5 hour pay-per-views. It's too much. You've got a lot of filler matches on them pay-per-views as well, what don't need to be there. Just shorten it. You can keep your time limit. You know, when you put your pay-per-views out, so, you know, keep that same distance. That's totally fine. But let's not have a 5 hour show when we don't need to. I have done 2 watch-alongs on the O channel where I was literally dying at the end, falling asleep. I don't want that. You guys don't want to be involved in a live stream where the person doing the live stream's falling asleep. It's because the pay-per-views are goddamn too long. So shorten them. Get them down to 3.5 hours. Have that extra half hours that you wouldn't normally get. Just shorten the pay-per-view. I don't think it's hard. I think it's possible. Even announce another date for another pay-per-view. Even have it 2 nights where it's 3 hours and 3 hours. Do something that's different, because the 5 hour pay-per-view is not working. And a lot of people are absolutely like, ugh. They dread. Majority of them dread that extra couple of hours, which is not needed. So yeah, that's what I do. Shorten the pay-per-view. Also, number 6 leads from that. Cheapen the pay-per-view. I do believe that Americans pay £50, $50, which is like equivalent of £50 here in the UK. That is way too much. Us from the UK pay £20 for a pay-per-view. Contrast that to WWE. If you didn't have the network, you were paying £15 for a pay-per-view. So AEW is £5 dearer than WWE here in the UK. But then you look at, in America, £50, $50 for a pay-per-view. It's ridiculous. And I think it destroys a lot of the fan base, to be quite honest with you, because who's wanting to pay that? Who can afford to pay that? I mean, yes, if you've got VPS, you can change that. You can order it from the UK, which I would urge you to do. Get VPN, as soon as possible, because paying $50 is way too much for a pay-per-view. I know you're getting value for money with it being 5 hours long, but it's just not worth it. Really not. If WWE were doing that, you guys would be saying rip off. So $50 is just way too much. I'd shorten that. But to get the shorter pay-per-view, shorten the price down. Even if you were paying half of what you were, like $25, that's still cheaper. That would still attract the audience, I guess. Even maybe get some casuals to actually pay out for the pay-per-view. $50 is just way too much, in my opinion. So that's what I'd do, shorten that. Then we get to number 7, and I'm sure they'll be doing this soon, but tour dates. I know the Dynamite show goes on the road. That's not enough. Where's your in-house shows? Where are the AEW in-house shows? WWE are constantly touring. They do a lot of UK tours. They go around Europe, the rest of the world. AEW haven't even started that yet, and they need to. It's all right having figures here in the UK in the shops, but we have not had a show or a tour here in the UK yet. Yes, the pandemic. I can hear you all saying, oh, well, the pandemic shortened that one now. But we're out of the pandemic now. It's time to start touring. It's time for AEW to get their act together and get over to the UK and spark interest in the UK audience or European audience. And it's what's needed. A lot of people don't even realise what that wrestling show is on ITV here in the UK, to be quite honest with you. Only hardcore wrestling fans know it exists. And that's madness. That shouldn't be a case. It should be on the forefront because we've got it. You can watch it on free-to-air channels, which WWE, you can't. So why are they not trying to do this? I don't understand. Maybe this is like just a thing because obviously they could be announcing the dates anytime soon, maybe for next year. But they need to start. They need to start touring. They need to get the wrestlers out there. And you can't say that they can't because they've got a massive roster. And it's so easy for them to do it. So, yeah, get touring is what I'd do. Also, number 8 is start getting a TV deal for ROH because it will take a lot of the cluster away from AEW. And that's what's a problem. Too many goddamn wrestlers. They've created this trio belt, which is ridiculous. Don't need it. And it's only just to fabricate these factions for being in AEW. If ROH, they can get a TV deal, you're taking a large chunk of that rather hectic roster. Because you could just go, right, Claudio, you go into ROH, so-and-so's going to ROH. You could build its own promotion. You can take them stars. You don't need them stars to be on AEW. They'll be on ROH. There's plenty enough wrestlers. There's plenty enough wrestling companies. There's plenty of independent talent to pick from. So you can't tell me that this is not possible. It's who's picking it up. I don't know too much about how American TV works or why anybody's not picking up ROH, but surely to God, that ROH was a big deal when it was around, and surely still is a big deal. How has this not been snapped up by a lesser channel? It's beyond me. What about the station what had Dynamite before it moved to TBS, TNT? Why can't they have ROH? It's just amazing that there's no deal on the table yet for that promotion, and there needs to be, because it cannot survive being on the same programming as AEW. Dynamite or any other show, it needs to have its own promotion. It needs to be its own entity to go forward. I think Tony Khan and that are missing a massive opportunity here. I mean, yeah, ROH needs its own TV deal, basically. Number 9. This is another nitpick, and I've got to admit, I don't really care, but make the shows a little bit more brighter, change things up. It's very same. It's been the same for 3 years. It's rather dark. It's very dark ringside. The visuals that they put on from the staging, very dark, very dingy. I don't know if that's an aesthetic that they want. I'm not saying it needs to go NXT 2.0 bright, but I'm just saying that it just needs to be brightened up. It needs something new. It needs to be attractive to the eye. At the moment, it's not. It's very dark. It's very dingy. I'm just not feeling the aesthetic of it. So for me, I would change that. I'd get a new design. Yeah, the oval, the round circles where they come out, that's totally fine. We can change that up. Why do they look like they're exhaust from a plane? Let's tweak that a little bit, I suppose. But yeah, like I said, nitpick. That's it, number 9. But last but not least, God, this video's took longer than I thought. Less Tony Khan on the show. I think that's pretty much, he needs to be out of the loop. Stop doing the press conferences. Stop being a figure on TV, because it's just a lonely fanboy. He doesn't need to be on TV. Nobody needs to know that he even owns the company. He's not great. He's not a great figurehead for ROH. You need to drop him. Yes, he's the owner. We all get it. But do we need him having TV time? No. I don't know how you're going to get rid of that. Maybe hire somebody to be the face of AEW. But it certainly shouldn't be Tony Khan. He's not doing a fantastic job, in my opinion. So that's it. That is my 10 changes that I would do to AEW if I was in charge. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. I'll be gratefully get your views. It'd be great to hear what you have to say about the AEW. And let me know if you would like me to do the same video for WWE. I'm sure Just Nick, my co-host, will be producing a video of his own. So look also out for that. Join us for our watch-alongs for Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, Extreme Rules this weekend. All the pay-per-views. Whether it be Just Nick on himself or Just Nick and me, Dave in real life too. Together, honestly, make sure that you slap a like on this video. Go subscribe if you're new. And leave comments. I've been Dave in Real Life Football on the Just Real Talk channel. And until the next time, bye for now.